What is going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you part 3 of my mini-series, the many types of Silvally-GX, and this time I am doing a deck that is based around Silvally-GX and Tapu Bulu, and this is actually the first one that I'm using that is also involves Zoroark-GX. But before I get into the deck, first I want to give a shout out to Trainer Chip. He is the one who originally, well, whose list I based this deck off of, so shoutouts to them for, or shoutouts to him, sorry, for this deck idea. And also, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. Helps us out a lot and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And as for the question of the day, now as this deck is centered around Tapu Bulu, obviously I got thinking about the Tapus, and normally I would just be like, okay, what is your favorite Tapu? However, this time I'm going to go a little bit different and say, what is your least favorite Tapu and why? So as for me, I would actually have to say that my least favorite Tapu is Tapu Fini. Now, I will admit that my opinion of my least favorite Tapu is going to be based on Smogon, Draft Format, that type, basically the video game version of Tapu Fini, as opposed to the TCG version of Tapu Fini. But first and foremost, I want to emphasize that just because I do not like Tapu Fini does not mean I think it is a bad Pokemon. I think it is a phenomenal Pokemon. I think it is a very good Pokemon that, when used correctly, can be incredibly effective. So I don't want to leave that impression. But the reason I do not like Tapu Fini is, so, okay, Tapu Koko has incredible speed, can hit special and physical. I mean, I really like Tapu Koko. It's probably my favorite Tapu at this point. Tapu Lele has undeniable power in both the TCG and the video game, and with its typing of Psychic and Fairy being absolutely insane coverage. I mean, the only thing that resists Psychic, or that's immune to Psychic, not resists, the only thing that's immune to Psychic is Dark, which Tapu Lele can hit insanely hard with Moonblast. I mean, Tapu Lele is just an insane threat, so I really like that. Tapu Bulu with Grassy Terrain. I kind of have a special spot in my heart for Tapu Bulu simply because Grassy Terrain is just so cool. I love physical attackers. I probably favor physical attackers more than special, so Tapu Bulu just being an insane nuke with its grass stabs is something that's very fun. But Tapu Fini is undeniably the defensive one of the Tapus, and it's an incredible defogger. It has amazing typing. Water Fairy is amazing. The only thing that I have a problem with is that Tapu Lele, wow, I keep saying the wrong one. Tapu Fini is a Bulkymon, and many people use it bulky. However, it can be used offensively, I will admit that, but it doesn't have the offensive stats of its brethren, so it can't be used as offensive as a nuke as the other ones. And if it's defensive, it doesn't have reliable recovery. It can't even use rest because of Misty Terrain. So I really just do not like the fact that it's supposed to be a bulky Pokemon that doesn't have any ability to recover outside of, I believe, like Z Haze or something to that effect, outside of using your Z move to be able to recover. So that's why I don't like Tapu Fini. I'm sorry, I talked for way too long on that. I just had to explain myself. What is your least favorite Tapu and why? Leave your comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys actually don't like about the Tapus, as they are pretty amazing mons in and of themselves. But anyway, on to the deck. Like I said, this is going to be, of course, another Silvally-GX deck, but this time I'm pairing it with Tapu Bulu. So basically, Bulu is just going to be the hard hitter of this deck, and of the decks that I've done so far, this one is the most straightforward. The whole idea is to just get Bulu set up as quickly as possible and then hit hard and use Silvally and Zoroark as backup attackers along with Rayquaza to be another way of accelerating energy. So I mean, it's just very straightforward, just to hit hard, hit fast, and yeah, just hit hard and hit fast. That's the whole strategy of the deck, and use whatever you need. This one actually does not have any drives at all. Tried it out and it actually works out pretty nicely. Like, you really don't find yourself needing different types all that much, as yes, fighting is annoying, but Tapu Bulu not having a weakness is very nice to deal with, and then also having that retreat cost be 0 thanks to Silvally is very nice. So Really, because this deck is so straightforward, I'm just going to start from the beginning and go down the line from there. We have 2 Rayquaza as a way of accelerating energy. Slap a DCE on there. Hit with Turbo Storm and you can accelerate. Oops, sorry, pulled up my Discord right there. With the DCE, you can hit for 30 and attach 2 basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. Rayquaza can not only power up Bulu, but can also power up Silvally and Zoroark. So, I mean, yes, it does cost a DCE, but you get 2 energy out of it. So, basically, you just net 2 energy on something. You can turn a DCE into 2 grass attachments onto something, which is very, very nice. 2/2 of Type Null and Silvally, just because, like the water deck, this deck doesn't necessarily rely on Silvally as much for acceleration as other decks would. However, again, it's still very, very nice, so having 2 Silvally is always nice, but it's more for that free treat of our basic Pokemon. However, again, still can attack with Turbo Drive to accelerate energy, which is always nice. Hitting for 120 is definitely very, very solid. I mean, look at Zoroark. 120 is a great number to be able to hit. So, I mean, it's not as necessary to have a high number of these, but we still want to have enough that we can get them when we need them. 2/2 of Zorua and Zoroark, because Zoroark is basically the meta in a card right now. I mean, the fact that Buzzwole is so prevalent is in part to Zoroark, because it just works in absolutely an insane amount of decks and meta-relevant decks. And then 3 Tapu Bulu, because that is the main attacker of this deck. That is what this deck is centered around. So just being able to have enough of these when we need it to be able to either attach energy or simply just play them down in order to take a hit if we need it. And then finally 2 Lele, just to like Lele into Brigette, Lele into Mallow, that type of thing. Running 2 Field Blower, because this deck does definitely rely on abilities a lot more than, say, than the other Silvally deck, than the Water Silvally deck that I relied on, or that I used earlier this week, sorry, because we have not only Silvally but Zoroark as well, and we rely on Zoroark for that extra draw support for Max Elixir, just to get energy accelerated as quickly as possible onto our attackers. 1 Rescue Stretcher, because we're okay with having energy in the discard pile, because Rayquaza and Silvally can both get energy out of there and accelerate energy from the discard pile, so having them in there is not the end of the world. 4 Ultra Ball to guarantee get the mons that we want when we want them. And then as for the supporters, while the water deck did like discarding energy a lot more due to Aqua Patch, this deck does not like discarding as much. Therefore, we do have a larger line of the supporters that let you shuffle draw as opposed to discard draw from Sycamore. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still have 2 Sycamore in there, because discard draw 7 is, I mean, 7 cards is just insane. Like, 7 cards is amazing. Like, if there was a shuffle draw 7, that would be the most busted supporter in the game right now. Like, Cynthia is used in every single deck in multiple copies, and it's a shuffle draw 6. If there's a shuffle draw 7, oof, that'd be insane. I mean, yes, technically there's Hala, but you had to use your GX attack that isn't necessarily reliable, yada yada yada. So, I mean, yeah, draw 7 is just it's the gold standard of support. However, we do not necessarily want to discard everything, so that's why we have shuffle draw. We have more copies of N than Cynthia, because we do have Zoroark to somewhat mitigate the late game N, only putting us to 1 or 2. So 1 card can turn into 2, can turn into 4 with Zoroark very, very quickly, while we are putting our opponent down to a low amount as well. So that's why we like more N than Cynthia, but again, Cynthia is still just great. Shuffle draw 6, like just very consistent. You get 6 cards off of Cynthia. 2 Brigette in order to maximize our potential of starting with that as this deck. I mean, the ideal start is to get a Type Null, a Zorua, and a Bulu, as well as a Rayquaza or any combination of multiple of those. So Brigette is just ideal for getting those out, as this deck does rely on evolutions more than the other Silvally decks. 3 Guzma, because Guzma is amazing and just be able to bring out stuff that we want to be able to take the knockout on. 2 Mallow, due to the ability to have trade with Mallow. Just put 2 cards to the top of our deck. Like, if we need a specific combination or just a specific card, then we can Mallow, put, like, say, that Choice Band or the Silvally to the top of the deck and trade right into that. So, I mean, that's just a great combination that really helps this deck out. So that's why we're running a couple Mallow as well. 4 Choice Band as the items. You notice we are not running any of the drives. I decided to streamline this deck a little more, just not try any drives in it, just to hit as hard as possible, see how it works out. And it's actually worked out pretty well in the tests that I've done with this deck. So just 4 Choice Band to hit as hard as possible, 4 DCEs because Zoroark, Silvally, and Rayquaza all rely on them, so that's why we want the max number of those, and then 10 Grass Energy to statistically be able to hit Max Elixir whenever we play. Just have enough. That way we can potentially hit that, but also have enough to discard and accelerate from the discard pile when we want to. So yeah, that is the deck. It's very straightforward. Let's go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against I don't even know. X-Ross Hart. I don't know. That's what I'm going to say. All I know is there's an Aki, and I know somebody named Aki in the draft format. So, yeah, we start off, and we will get to go first. And we actually get a very, very nice hand to start off with. I mean, I have a Rayquaza. I'll be able to get an energy in the discard pile. I'll be able to bridge it to get some good stuff as well. So this hand actually works out very well for me, and I even get a draw supporter, so I don't have to worry about that. And we're up against like a Licky... or Lickitung. I'm assuming there's a Licky. I don't even know what my opponent's running necessarily. So what I'm going to do is Ultra Ball. And let's grab... Do I want Silvally or Zoroark? I think I want Silvally because, I mean, I'm going to grab a Zorua. I'm going to grab a Zorua and a Type Null regardless, so it's just a matter of which evolution I want. And I think I want the Silvally early on. So let's go ahead and grab a Zorua, a Bulu, and a Type Null. Get all of those out there, and then let's see. How do I want to play this? I think I just want to start going for Silvally because Silvally will be able to one-shot Lickitung. And you know what? Let's try to bait out the Field Blower early on by playing my Choice Band down and seeing what happens. So if I can get a DCE this coming turn, I will be able to knock out the Lickitung while accelerating energy, and that will be absolutely perfect. Like, if you told me that I'd be able to start doing that by turn 2, I would say, yes, please, just go ahead and sign me up for that. So he does just draw cards with a Licky, and I could attach an energy right now, but I'm going to go a little bit greedy, see if I can draw into one of my 4 DCE, and I actually draw into 2 of them. So let's go ahead and energy up the Silvally. Let's go for a Max Elixir, which we do hit. I'm going to go ahead and put that on Bulu, and with the free retreat, I'm going to go ahead and get out of my Rayquaza into my Silvally, knock out the Lickitung, and accelerate energy, but my opponent does see that I had a perfect start, whereas he was only able to attach and then just draw cards to end the turn, so I'm pretty sure that that would have just ended up being exactly what it looked like it was going to end up being. So yeah, that was the first game. I mean, I really wish we would have been able to play it out because that was a very solid start, but unfortunately that's not how it goes, so we will just go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against a Jonathan Garcia with a Metal, Psychic, and Water deck, so I'm assuming that we are going up against a Metagross deck, which I'll be actually really interested to see how this matchup plays out. And we do win the coin flip, meaning that yes, I will 1000% want to go first. And I start off with, well, it's amazing if I can get some form of draw support. Yeah, if I'm able to get some form of draw support, then that would absolutely be ideal. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start off with a Type Null and a Bulu, see what my opponent is running, and well, I take that back. Turns out it is not going to be a Metagross deck. It is going to be an Alolan Dugtrio deck, which can be terrifying if my opponent's able to get enough set up. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just bridge it, grab a couple Zorua, and I want to grab another Bulu as well. That way I can have 2 of each. You know what? I think I might just do that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and grab another Bulu. That way I can have, yeah, that way I'll have 2 Silvally, 2 Zoroark, and 2 Bulu, which, I mean, everybody loves to see that. So let's go ahead, Max Elixir, see if I can hit it. Yes, I do. Let's power up the Bulu because I will be able to one-shot Staryu, and then let's get an energy onto the Type Null so that I can, at the very least, have a Silvally powered up later with just a DCE in order to start accelerating energy. Does get the Mount Coronet up. What I think I'm going to do this coming turn is kind of prioritize taking out the Staryu, because if I can take out the Staryu early on and just keep it from becoming a Starmie, keep my opponent from being able to get multiple energies into his hand, then Dugtrio cannot do a lot. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I mean, to be fair, I really don't have another play that's like competing for what I would do this turn anyway. So let's just go ahead and Guzma up the Staryu, knock it out with Horn Attack. I mean, at least this way I get a prize, which potentially will get me a draw supporter, which it does end up doing. So that is very nice, to say the least. And honestly, I'm not sure what my opponent is going to be able to do, because if he gets an Alolan Dugtrio, no matter what type of energy I get, I'm going to be able to knock it out with either Bulu or Silvally, and he does just get a Starmie, or another Staryu down, and doesn't evolve his Diglett. So I mean, if I can just take those things out, I will be able to just absolutely steamroll my opponent. So I mean, we get the Sycamore. I also had the Cynthia, as you guys saw, and this is... I think this might be the beginning of the end for my opponent. So let's attach the energy. I could have attached it to my Silvally, but I mean, I'd rather just attach the energy to my Bulu, just so I can start just continually attacking with that and not have to necessarily attack with Silvally until I needed to. And my opponent does scoop right there, seeing that I had an amazing setup and my opponent really just had nothing at all. Kind of sad that once again we get an amazing setup and our opponent just isn't able to do much at all. I mean, that's unfortunately how it goes. But I mean, I would have liked to play that out. I had a couple Zoroarks, I had a Silvally, I had a Bulu completely set up. I had energy in the discard pile so that Silvally would have been able to start accelerating it. So yeah, that was setting up to be a really fun game. Just unfortunately, my opponent did end up scooping. So yeah, that's game 2. Let's go ahead and try to find another one, hopefully longer. Alrighty, we have found another one against Lightcedo, and okay, this one looks like truly a Metagross deck. I mean, I know last time that's exactly what I thought and it ended up being Dugtrio Starmie, but this one, we see the Metagross coin, so I'm hoping it is an actual Metagross deck, and we see the Solgaleo sleeves, so, I mean, I have my fingers crossed right now. I start with, I'm going to be able to go first, and so I'll be able to start with something pretty solid as well. I have an Ultra Ball to look for something too, just get out whatever I want, and... okay, please be a Metagross deck that runs Staryu. Please, please, please be a Metagross deck that runs Staryu. Because otherwise, I will just be very sad that that's how this ended up. That we'll just be ended up playing a Dugtrio deck, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Alolan Dugtrio is a deck that can definitely catch people off guard, and given the proper setup, can be devastating. But, I don't know, I just really... I want to face a Metagross deck. I want to see how this deck would handle if it's not able to get Okos, if it has to just take 2-hit KOs on insanely bulky Pokemon. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the Zoroark. I get rid of the Silvally instead of the N or the Max Elixir. Honestly, as soon as I played that Ultra Ball, I kind of regretted it, just because I really didn't think that I don't think that I needed to play it early on, because I mean, I could have just waited to see what I draw next turn and go from there. So, fortunately missed the Max Elixir too, so yeah, I mean, at the very least I'll be able to knock out the Staryu and still have a draw support for next turn, but I really wish I had held on to my Ultra Ball, because depending on what I draw into, like, that would have just allowed me to be able to evolve Silvally and evolve Zoroark, which would have been ideal. My opponent does get a town map. We can see what all he's running. And it's a Alolan Dugtrio, so surprise, surprise, it's exactly what I wasn't expecting / half expecting again. So yeah, we got another, and just making sure that Alolan Dugtrio, for some reason I was thinking that it only did 20. No, it does 30. So have to at least pay attention to it, because if he's able to get like 2 Staryus up, or 2 Starmies up, and the Mount Coronet, he's going to be able to hit for 180 per turn, which is not good at all. And it's something I'm going to have to watch out for. So he does just retreat into the Lele. This should end up being fine for me, because I do have the Zoroark. I can start wearing down the Lele. I can potentially get a Silvally going, which would be very nice to start powering up stuff. And I get a Mallow too. So it's a matter of, what do I want to do this turn? So obviously I'm going to evolve the Zoroark. But do I want a Mallow? And guarantee, and like grab myself a Silvally and a Sycamore for next turn, or a Silvally and an energy? No, I think I just want to save the Mallow for when like I need something in particular. And unfortunately, I don't draw into an energy, but I mean, that's fine. I'll still be able to do sufficient damage to my opponent's Lele, and let's go ahead and grab the Silvally. Unfortunately, there are no more Zoroarks in the deck. That's fine. That just means that I don't want to play the Zorua down necessarily. I mean, Zoroark is prized and I do have access to it that I will probably be able to get later. Let's trade, see if I can draw into an energy off of this, discard the Zorua, because if I can draw an energy, that would be great. I do not, but what I do get is a Choice Band, which I will be able to play onto the Bulu, hit the Lele for 60 damage, and not going to lie, that Choice Band, that extra damage from Choice Band is very clutch because it puts it in range of not only Silvally but Zoroark as well if I draw into a DCE. And now that I have the Silvally, I will have free retreat on all of my basic mons. So Bulu will just be able to free retreat out into Silvally or Zoroark, whichever I decide to go into. And my opponent is just going to go ahead and play down another Lele for a Cynthia. Those Leles are going to start becoming targets for me just to try to wear those things down. And I mean, the more I can take those things out, the easier it will be for me to win the game, because if I take out 2 Leles, then that just means I have to take out a combination of 2 Dugtrios or Starmies, which are both very easy for me to one-shot with either Silvally, Zoroark, or Bulu if it's fully powered up. So I'm definitely going to start targeting down these Leles. He does just energy drive, that hurts. I get an energy. Let's trade, get rid of the Rayquaza, see if I can get something that I can... Well, I get another Rayquaza. Basically, I just turned a Rayquaza into a DCE. Like, I turned... Okay, essentially, I just drew a DCE because I drew a Rayquaza. I don't know what I was trying to say right there. But I turned a Rayquaza into a Rayquaza and a DCE, so I basically just gained a net DCE off of that. And I think what I'm going to do here is I don't... Okay, so Rayquaza is not going to help me in this matchup, but I'd rather play safe and be able to just one-shot the Lele, no questions asked. So I'm going to play the Rayquaza down. Like I said, not going to help me, but it's free retreat thanks to Silvally, and it guarantees that my Righteous Beating is going to be able to one-shot my opponent's Lele. So, I mean, even though I did draw into the Lele of my own, I decided that it wasn't worth it to risk, so I just kind of went for it in that regard. So, I mean, I did draw into the Lele, which is fine, but, I mean, I still got the knockout, which is what I wanted. I have the Choice Band, I have Bulu's on the bench. I can start powering up Sylveon as well. My opponent has no way of one-shotting anything, and if I draw into a Max Elixir, I will be able to actually one-shot this Lele with Bulu. So it's a matter of, do I want to try to go for that with Mallow? Do I want to try to just grab 2 Max Elixirs with Mallow and then try to go for that with the Bulu, or would I rather just take the damage, just try to get set up as well as possible, just not take any chances at all, and just go for what is the safest play? I mean, as much as I would love to do that, I think the safe play is the play that I should make given my lead and given my setup, because the only way my opponent will be able to come back into this game is if I let him and I make dumb plays. So I think that the safe play is just, yeah, let's do that. And do I want a Mallow? Let's Ultra Ball first. Yeah, because if I Mallow and then Ultra Ball, that would just be dumb. Yeah, there are Guzmas. I kind of want to take out the Starmie if I can. So there are 3 Guzmas in the deck. Yeah, I kind of want to try to draw into that, because if I can take out Starmie, then that's it. So I think I'm going to... Because, I mean, I'll still get the damage on Lele regardless. So I think I'm going to just try to trade, see if I can draw into one of my 3 Guzmas, and I do not. So what I'm going to do with this turn is... Well, first of all, I attach the energy to Bulu. Let's attach the Choice Band to Zoroark, and then... let's just Sycamore. Gets rid of the Mallow, gets rid of a bunch of stuff, but it increases my odds of drawing into Guzma, which I do not get. And, ooh, I do get this, which I can just go ahead and put on Bulu. And while I can one-shot the Lele, if I go for my GX attack, I kind of don't want to risk Bulu. Like, I think that Bulu is going to be my way of just cleaning up the game. And also, it would have gotten rid of a DCE, which, yes, I know, I have 3 DCEs in my hand. Yeah, I see that. But this Lele is now in range of a single horn attack from Bulu, and I have so many Guzmas in my deck that I have plenty of opportunities to get that. And so I figure I might as well just save what I have, like just save my resources for later, because my GXs are in absolutely no danger of going down. Like, there is zero chance that Zoroark or Bulu is going to be going down this turn. I mean, unless he... Well, to be fair, he could have drawn into an energy choice band in Guzma and then knocked out my Bulu. But, yeah, there was no chance that they were going down this turn. So I just decided to play it safe. I mean, my opponent has to promote a Diglett anyway, which is going to go down to Zoroark. So let's just attach to another Bulu, play an energy onto Silvally. Let's trade, see if I can draw into Guzma now, because if I can get that now, that'd be very nice. Nope, still nothing. So let's Field Blower. Get rid of the Mount Coronet. Yeah, I don't really want to get rid of any of my my choice bands, and then let's just Cynthia, see what I draw into, and I get all 3 Guzma. So I have all the Guzma I could possibly want, and I will be able to knock out this Diglett. And I'm okay. So yes, I could be down to like 1 prize at this point, but I still stand by my play of making the safe play, because now I have a Zoroark powered up, I have a Bulu powered up. I don't have to get rid of the DCE off the Zoroark. I can start powering up Silvally as well. So basically just conserving all of my resources to be able to continually attack over and over against my opponent. And this coming turn with my 3 Guzmas, I'm going to target down that Lele, because, I mean, if I can knock it out with a Bulu with 1 energy, that means that he has to promote something. And then the thing that he has that is in the active for me is something with 1 energy. Meanwhile, I will have a Zoroark on the bench with the DCE, I'll have a fully powered up Bulu, and I will have a Silvally that is 1 energy away from being able to attack. And also, I still haven't used my GX attack yet as well, so let's go ahead and do that. Choice Band up the Bulu just because, and then Guzma up the Lele, and then switch into my Bulu and knock that thing out with Horn Attack. So this is exactly what I was saying. Like, now I am 1 prize away from winning this game. I will have, I mean, I will guaranteed have something powered up that can hit for at least 100 damage this coming turn, whether that's Zoroark or Tapu Bulu. And by draw, I would guaranteed pretty much be able to draw into an energy, because Zoroark would be able to trade, and I'd be able to draw into an energy or some means of getting an energy so that I could attack with Silvally as well. So really, I basically had the game at that point due to all the things that I had powered up. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to end that there. It is the exam grind. And yes, I know you guys are as tired of me using that excuse as I am of having to use that excuse. But if you just bear with me, I should have more time coming up this summer. If it were up to me, I would have nothing but free time to just make videos for you guys. But unfortunately, that's not what med school does to you. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.